Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the aspect of time in this story. And I did ask you, how does the marking of time affect this story? And remember, of course, time is an element of the setting. Now, the story begins. On the third day of rain, they had killed so many crabs inside the house that Paleo had to cross his drenched courtyard and throw them into the sea because a newborn child had a temperature all night, and they thought it was due to the stench. The world had been sad since Tuesday. Now, you do get that day, there is Tuesday, realism. But the fact that they say the third day, the child is newborn, and then as we progress through the story, the child learns to walk. The child goes to school, and you don't get in 1970 when the child was born, in 1972 when the child learned to walk, and in 1975 when the child began school. The people in this story mark time differently than we mark it. There's also metaphorical language in here, and again, I'm going to refer back to the opening paragraph on page 538. The world had been sad since Tuesday. So it wasn't that not only that it had been raining since Tuesday, but why was it raining? The world was sad. So these people look at the world differently than we do. And I ask you what time it took place, and then I referred to the airplane on page 539 is where that is. And it's way down at the bottom of the page, and it's talking about the priest. He argued that if wings were not the essential element in determining the difference between a hawk and an airplane, they were less so in the recognition of angels. So even the presence of the wing, the hawk, the airplanes, these people look at the world very simplistic, and maybe they have to look in the sky for a moment before being able to delineate between the hawk and between the airplane. So the way that Marquez uses the passage of this time in story again gives it that very slow and that very much of a fairy tale feel to the whole thing. Now, back to the angel. Again, that magical realism. You have, a man who falls from the sky. He must be an angel because he has wings. But yet, he's a very I don't even want to use the word realistic angel because how do you describe a realistic angel? But on page 540 it says of him, his only supernatural virtue seemed to be patience. They can't understand what he says. He can't understand their language. He doesn't, immediately, recoup his angel status and fly away, but he has patience, which also tells us something about these people. Perhaps they are a little impatient, excuse me. And I also ask you, and it is on page 540, down at the very bottom again, they spent their time finding out if the prisoner had a navel. And I ask you, that, I almost said bonus points. Why is it important if the visitor has a navel or not? Okay, I'm going to tell you if you don't know. They used to have conferences in the Middle Ages and before, uh, you know, uh, trying to figure out, the ideology of certain things. Did Adam have a belly button? He wasn't born in the natural way. So therefore, why would he have a belly button if he had not been fed by an amniotic sac? Did Eve have a belly button? And so they ask, does he have a belly button? Because if he's an angel, he's probably not going to have one. I don't know if they ever decided that or not, back in those diets and conferences they used to have. But if he has a belly button, then he's probably going to be less than an angel because he was given, some woman, winged woman, gave birth to him. And what do they do with this man? They make money off of him. People pay to come in to see him. And this isn't so different than what we would do in this world, in this time, with a winged man. We would do the same thing. And then the carnival comes in, and the sideshow, and they have something that supersedes him, and that, of course, is the Spider Woman. And we have to ask again: is the Spider Woman really? Is she? Are the circumstances of her being turned into a spider real? Did she really disobey her parents and get, cursed for this? Is she somebody with a birth defect? How can we tell? Do we accept what we are told, or do we try to explain it in logical, ways? The man with the enormous wings exists, but can the Spider Woman exist? What kind of a woman is she? And so this magical realism, this winged man who is reduced to a sideshow, it all has to do with the setting and also with theme, which we are going to talk about not next week, but the week after that. What is this saying about how we treat miracles? What is it saying about miracles? What is it saying about magic? And what is it saying about realism? Can we trust our senses? It opens up a whole bunch of questions about not only how the setting affects the flavor of a story, but other things as well. So keep this in mind when you are reading stories about setting. Why are some stories so vague? Why doesn't Marquez give us a place? Why doesn't Marquez give us a time? It's not shoddy writing. It is done for a reason. And we need to examine what those reasons are in this story. I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't tell me if you didn't, because, I'm just going to pretend that everybody liked it.